We've talked a lot about big ticket items in divorce cases: houses, cars, retirement accounts. But what about the smaller items, the dishes, the pictures, the couches? We call these personal property, and sometimes the devil is in the details. Hi everybody, I'm Sean Ramirez, a divorce and custody attorney here at Frazier Ramirez Law in Albuquerque. Cases of mine have run the gamut on this issue. On one end of the spectrum, I've had cases where neither party really cares about what happens to the personal property. But on the other end of the spectrum, I've had cases with a 3-inch thick notebook full of spreadsheets that divided everything from shot glasses to shower curtains. Your case will probably fall somewhere in between. Personal property usually has some sentimental or emotional value. Sometimes it can have some financial value if we're talking about major appliances or expensive furniture. It's up to you to figure out what extent that you want to include the value of personal property as part of the equitable division of assets. It's not often worth it, especially if you and your spouse are going to fight over whether the 60-inch TV is worth the $500 you originally spent for it or not. One of the easiest ways to divide the personal property is to arrange for a walkthrough of the marital residence. It's helpful to have some witnesses for each side present or an agreed upon neutral third party. Usually one spouse has already moved out and they've already collected their personal items like clothing. At this point, as they do a walkthrough, they discuss with their spouse which items they agree they will take. It's not that the other spouse has the final say, but if there's a dispute, the item will typically stay for now, and it should be written down which items are in dispute. These disputed items can be resolved later as part of settlement negotiations or at a final trial. But if it gets to that point, you should really expect for a judge to start flipping coins to figure out who's getting what. Ideally, this should all happen early in the divorce. Sometimes we've had cases where we've arranged for this walkthrough to happen after the divorce was finalized, which makes disputes much more difficult to resolve. Decide what items are must-haves and what items, like shower curtains, that you can easily replace. Once again, this has been Sean Ramirez from Frazier Ramirez Law.